You are Locked On Marlins Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
There we go. What is up, Fish fans? Welcome to your Locked On Marlins Postcast. My name is Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. Thankful to have you with me here today on Locked On Sports Miami and wherever you get your audio podcast, whether it be Spotify, whether it be Stitcher, Podbean, iHeart, you know what I'm saying, right? Apple Music. We are here for you day in and day out, and that's more than we can say for the Marlins bats right now. They get shut out for the second time in a row, 5-0 by the Texas Rangers. They never gave themselves a chance offensively or defensively, really, from the start of this game. My name is Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. Pumped to have you here. And as always, want to thank you for making Locked On Marlins Postcast your first listen every day. We're free. We're available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And today just so happens to be brought to you by Supply House. How about Supply House? A reliable way to get parts fast. It's that simple. Shop for your next plumbing, HVAC, or electrical job and get fast shipping from coast to coast at supplyhouse.com. I just say a special what's up to my man, Baseball Fan 31. Appreciate you being here today, my brother, as always, or my sister. Not really sure. I can't see in the picture there. But really appreciate you and here every single day, the day-by-dayers. But what a great, unbelievable run lately for the Marlins, right? They're winning series, 4 series in a row. They win 2 out of 3. It started with that end game of the Philly series, and you think like, hey, the team's really turning things around. They're moving in the right direction. Even you go to Arizona and you take 2 out of 3 from the defending National League champion Diamondbacks. You go to San Diego, Padres good, star-studded team. Hey, you win the 3rd game there, and you take 1 out of 3. And then all of a sudden, hey, here we are. We're coming back home. We got the world champion Rangers coming in, and you take the 1st game, and you have been really hitting the ball well. Like all of a sudden, the offense has broken out. And it's a bad day today for the Marlins offense. You're right, Baseball Fan 31. It's a bad day because the Miami Marlins can't hit the baseball. It's a bad day because for the 2nd day in a row and the 6th time this season, they were shut out. It's a bad day because Rogers allowed 4 hits in a row to start the bottom of the top of the 1st inning. You're never going to win. 4 hits in a row to start an inning in Major League Baseball is almost unheard of. And, sometimes their starters aren't giving them much of a chance from the beginning. The Rangers put it in cruise control from there. I don't know how else to describe it, but 2nd day in a row, the Rangers shut out your Miami Marlins 5-0. They win the series 2-1. It was Andrew Heaney today putting on a pitching clinic. Yesterday, it was who pitched yesterday? Lorenzen, right? So, yeah, every starter, when the Marlins are going like this, every starter they're facing is putting on a clinic, right? I mean, literally putting on a clinic, and that's what happened today. In the top of the 1st inning, I'll get you to that in a minute, but Andrew Heaney, I mean, you're making this guy look like a Hall of Fame world beater, right? And he's just not, and we'll get to the box score. We'll get to who did what in just a minute. We're tinkering and toying with some new things to do here with the show, like putting up little graphics and segments for stars of the game and turning points and, little things and features, little odds-related things that'll help you enjoy your experience a little bit more as we continue to evolve just this first summer, this first little rollout of your Locked On Postcast, the initiative that's taking Locked On by storm, your #1 podcast network. So, yeah, when the Marlins lose, it's a bad day, but when they lose bad. I mean, Trevor Rogers gives up 4 straight hits to start the 1st inning, 3-run 1st inning. You have no shot by the time you even hit. You're down 3-0. By the time you even hit, you're down 3-0. And this is something the Marlins need to learn how to do. And we talked about it yesterday, 2 on with nobody out in the 1st inning, and they don't score. The Rangers took advantage of Rogers struggling. He settled down after this, and they wouldn't score again until the 6th inning. But they got to him early. And kudos to Skip Schumacher for staying with him. How about Adolis Garcia? Smoked a 400-foot bomb. 2 hits, 2 RBIs, his 13th home run of the season. Josh Smith, 2 more hits for the Rangers. Marlins happy to see him get out of town. Garcia as well. No Marlins hitter had more than 1 hit for the 2nd consecutive game, man. They're 21-39. Tampa Bay Rays come in for a quick 2-game series on Tuesday, and Jesus Luzardo, who's been great lately, will start the opener. We'll preview that one for you a little bit later on in the show. But for right now, still It's look, I mean, you're talking about Luzardo's been great. Weathers, caught up with him a little bit yesterday, although he still struck out 11. You are pretty much learning and knowing what you're going to get from here on out if you're the Marlins. Rogers, Garrett, you don't know. Great outing, good outing, horrible outing. It's up and down. It's start by start with these guys. You never know what you're going to get. Start in, start out with these two, right? 3 of the other guys in the rotation, you know what you're going to get, particularly lately. Jesus Luzardo, right? You know what you're going to get. And we'll have more on him toward the end of the show because he's pitching the next game. Luzardo's been fantastic lately. The lefty, since coming off the IL, has been superb. And Weather's been phenomenal as well. And unfortunately, you also know what you're going to get from Sixto Sanchez, which is usually a 6-spot. Call him 6-spot Sanchez because every single time he pitches, it seems like he's giving up a 6-spot. And whether that's fair or not, it's earned. So, you're a Major League Baseball player making a ton of money and, at least in relativity, and you have to perform. And this dude just has not, is not. And you know how that is. He's on the injured list today. They literally just announced that. And let's see if Seager extended his hitting streak today. He did, right? Corey Seager. Where's he at? Yeah, 1 for 5. Barely extended that hitting streak today, did Corey Seager. So Sixto Sanchez on the 15-day injured list due to right shoulder inflammation. We've seen that with Diaz with the Mets with the shoulder impingement. A lot of times they'll say that when someone's really struggling and they'll just, give him that time off. And I hope Sixto can heal up nice. But, man, they brought back Emmanuel Ramirez from AAA Jacksonville. Sanchez is only 25. He's got a history of shoulder injuries, 2 surgeries, missed 3 seasons, 21 through 23. And that's 2021 through 2023, not his 21 and 20, but although it coincides. So he is 0-3 this season with a 6.06 ERA, pitched on Friday, 2 hits and 2 runs and 4 hits and 4+ innings and an 8-2 win over the Rangers. He said, it was Schumacher said he felt like from the get-go it was 87 miles an hour again. And if it's 87, if he's used to throwing like 89 to 90, but when you have flashing 95, 96, and then you're throwing 87, I just want to make sure everything's okay and he's not trying to get through something and just being upfront with us as well. That's exactly my point. He's struggling. They call it an injury and let him sit for a while. And maybe he gets that rest and it comes back and he does what it did for Jesus Luzardo, who's been phenomenal, right? I mean, think about JT Realmuto to the Phillies in February 2019. Sanchez 3-5 with a 4.7 ERA in his career. He says he's feeling good. And Emmanuel Ramirez, meanwhile, 29 with a 1.59 ERA, 5 strikeouts, no walks, and 5 2/3 innings for the Marlins this season. So Sixto Sanchez. So what does that mean for the rotation moving forward? Let's see. After Luzardo, then it's Braxton Garrett, right? It is. It's Braxton Garrett. So let's see. It's Braxton Garrett. Oh, that's the Major League Baseball schedule. Where's the Marlins schedule? Where are you at? Where are you at? My peoples, are you with me? Where are you at? In the front, in the back. Killer Bees on attack. Here we go, Miami. Just checking real quick on the schedule and who's going to take his spot in the rotation. Yep, you're right, Baseball Fan 31. Win by a lot, lose by a lot. Where are we at here? All right, here we go. The schedule. Here we go, Marlins. And we got the schedule popping up here. So who's taking his spot in the rotation? Because you got Luzardo and Garrett back-to-back against Tampa Bay. Okay. All right. So after Garrett, Sanchez is still listed as the starter in that spot. So we'll have to update that as we go. So it'll go Luzardo, Garrett, Sanchez's spot, Weathers, Rogers, Luzardo, Garrett. So again, Weathers, Rogers, Luzardo, Garrett, Weathers and Luzardo, the lefties, you know what you're going to get. At least right now, they're red hot. And then Rogers and Garrett is literally start by start, even inning by inning. Rogers was terrible in the first inning today, settled down and did a lot better as the game went on. And we will get to exactly what you are hearing from me right now a little bit later on in the show. We're almost done with segment number 1. Really pumped to have you here today. Baseball Fan 31, it's the Tampa Bay Rays coming to town. 2-game series starting Tuesday. It's Tuesday and Wednesday. And then after that, I had this wrong yesterday. It was, After that, you're going to have Cleveland come in. It's the Guardians coming in through the weekend. Off days on Monday and Thursday this coming week, but then you got Tampa Bay and Cleveland. You got to win 4 of these 5. You got to win 4 of these 5. I mean, you just got to win 4 of these 5 games. You have to, man. There's no, I mean, I just don't know what else to say on that one. You've got to win 4 out of these 5 games. I mean, it just is, it is what it is, man. You got to win them. You got to win them. And these teams, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not, you got to win these games. You got to win these games. Let's see. There we go. Where are we at here? All right. So you got the Rays coming in. They're 29-31, similar to the Rangers record-wise, similar, to the Tigers record-wise, and you just took series from the Tigers, and then the Brewers as well, 35-23. You took 2 out of 3 from them. Played pretty well against the Phillies, taking one of those games. Padres too, right there around 32-29. So you got to win these games, man. You got them coming in, and then you got Cleveland coming in. And Cleveland's, I mean, this is a big time team. They're not a great road team. Their record's so great because they're 20-7 at home. They're 39-20 on the year. Royals would like some help from the Marlins for sure, but the Marlins need to. The Marlins definitely need to win 4 out of these 5, at least 3 out of these 5. You got a first place team coming in over the weekend, so maybe you take 2 out of 3 from them. You're hoping to. 1 out of 3, not gonna suffice here. Not gonna suffice. You have to win these home series. You have to. At this point, you're just in desperate straits. You're watching your Locked On Marlins postcast. My name's Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. So happy to have you with me day in and day out. We know you have choices, making Locked On Marlins postcast a part of your everyday routine right here on YouTube, Locked On Sports Miami, as well as where you listen to your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Music, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, wherever you listen to your podcast. We need the $200 million Rogan contract on the podcast side. We're working on it. It's Locked On Marlins postcast. I'm Grease. When we come back on the other side of this quick break, I am going to talk to you about the ins and outs of this game. What happened with this game, inning by inning, looking at Rogers in that first inning. He settled down after that. What the Rangers were able to do to get to him. Little things make all the difference in the world. Big difference in Major League Baseball. It's Locked On Marlins postcast. I'm Grease, and we are going to step aside, pay a couple of bills real quick. And I love to tell you about my friends at Supply House. Supply House is a proud sponsor of Locked On Major League Baseball. And when you deal with Supply House, you're ordering supplies from the website that's made for the skilled trades. Just like me, sportscaster. See this fine tool right here? Skilled trades. Find thousands of parts from hundreds of brands in just a couple of clicks at supplyhouse.com. Supplyhouse.com gives you 24/7 access to a huge selection of plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with fast delivery anywhere in the U.S. Need help with an order? Get industry-leading after-sales service from their friendly and knowledgeable customer support team and talk to a real person every time. That's great news, right? More great news coming your way for plumbers, technicians, contractors. Being a pro has its perks. As it turns out, trade industry professionals can join their free Trade Master program for free shipping and serious discounts on every order. Over 100,000 pros already trust the Trade Master program to deliver results, and you should too. Apply for membership today and get a competitive edge on every order at supplyhouse.com/T-M. Save money and time when you order online. Order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. All right, we're getting there with the production side here. Locked On Marlins postcast. My name's Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. 5-0 the Rangers. Shut out the Marlins. By the way, hit me up on social media at @JimGrease_. I do a lot of other things, UFC content and fun stuff, as well as being here doing the Marlins, Dolphins, University of Miami football. That's my alma mater, baby. The U. And, of course, Miami Heat basketball, doing the postcast all year long. We have Locked On Marlins, Locked On Heat, Locked On Dolphins, Locked On Hurricanes. You know the deal. One more question for you before we roll on with the show. And I know it's 5-0. It's a shutout. There's not anything fun to talk about today, but this team makes it interesting day in and day out. I mean, they're scoring 1 million runs or they're not scoring for 18 straight innings, which is where they're at now. But I have a question for you before we roll too far inward to the show. Are you watching Fox, ESPN every day, all day, and your ears are bleeding from all that screaming? Has it just evolved to the point where all people are going to do scream and yell, argue, and it's just become a little bit much, right? Well, you have to turn down the volume with all that shouting. Not anymore. Make the switch to Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 streaming channel program for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. My name's Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. And I've been saying 5-0 this whole time. I forgot about the range. I'm sorry, guys. Literally, I forgot they scored 2 runs in the 2 runs in the top of the 9th inning. And I'm literally sitting here. Yeah, you got to make sure. There we go. 6-0, Jim. 6-0. Gee whiz. What's wrong with me? It was like, what? 5-0. It's 6-0, guys. I mean, I don't mean to jip the Rangers, right? I don't mean to jip the Rangers. I mean, Marlins fans would prefer that I make it 5-0, right? But I mean, does it really matter at that point? There's changing it, guys, here in my recap on YouTube for you guys. There we go. Hope you're enjoying the show. There, I changed the score to 6-0, and you don't necessarily want to do that. But taking a quick look at the box. For the Rangers, nobody had an enormous day. Garcia hits home run number 13, right? And it's part of a 2-hit day, but he's 2 for 5, a couple of RBIs and a run scored. And then you have Josh Smith, 2 for 4. He's been red hot lately with a run scored. And, look, the Rangers had a good day offensively, not a great day. They had a couple of players with multiple hits, but they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. 8 hitters get at least 1 hit. 10-hit attack. 2 hitters with 2 hits apiece. Everybody in their starting lineup except for Heim and Langford and Duran had a hit. So they had 10 hits and they walked 4 times. So 14 guys on base. The Marlins were struck out 11 times today. How nasty was Andrew Heaney, man? We'll get to him in a minute. But this dude just shoved it right where the sun doesn't shine today with the Marlins. And, he's been pretty good lately. He doesn't pitch a lot into games. Like his last few outings, 3 2/3, 3 1/3, 2 1/3, even with 0 runs and 2 hits allowed against the Diamondbacks. So today was one of his longest outings of the season. He went 6 innings against Oakland on May 6th. And, let me see. He went 6 1/3 today, right? Let me see. Hey, he goes 6 1/3. Yeah, no, he went 6. He just went 6. And let's see where that is for him on the season. He pitched 7 on May 1st, and he's gone 6 2 other times. So it wasn't his season high. Let's see. Strikeouts, he had an 8 strikeout game. So today is not his high for strikeouts either, right? No, he had 7 today. But Heaney, Latz, Robertson, and Anderson shutout, a total of 11 strikeouts. Only and the Marlins did not walk. They did not draw a walk. That's one of the things that drives me crazy about this team, and I'll talk about that before the end of the show. They do not like to draw walks. What happened to my camera now? What in the world is going on here? Uh-oh. What in the? Come on. Okay. Just have it, bro. What the heck? Hey guys, if you're still there, just hang with me for a second. I am, my camera stopped feeding and I don't know why, but I think you can still hear me. I don't know if you can still hear me. Let's see if we can get that cam started again. Ah, there we go. Okay. Woo. Man, live streams. You never know what is going to happen. I apologize for that. My camera. Yeah, baseball fan 31. Close to the Mets. Got to sweep Tampa or Cleveland. Got to sweep Tampa. The two games coming in. You know, it's in state. They're just coming down. Real quick trip. You got to smoke them. You got to sweep them. But where was I? And I'll fix this going back into the show and making sure that it's there for you wherever you get your audio podcasts, and as well as here on YouTube. We'll get that fixed. But yeah, second straight shutout, number 6 on the year, feast or famine, meaning, hey, a few games there. And, you know, we've talked about this a bunch of times, right, where the Marlins scored a ton of runs and then they score none. So you'd like to see them spread it out a little bit more, although you're not complaining when they do. I mean, look, every game out, even their wins, 1-0, 3-0. They lose 3-2. They win 3-1. They lose 2-1. They lose 4-0. Then all of a sudden they score 17 runs in 2 games, and now they haven't scored since the 8th inning of the opener of this series, as they have been shut out 2 days in a row after scoring 17 runs in their finale against San Diego and their first game against the Rangers. Look, San Diego and Texas are really good teams. World champion, and then a team with a big payroll. They're going to make a lot of noise that might be underachieving a little bit. 3 games over 500 with Machado, with Tatis. Luis Arraez is a big addition for them, by the way. But when I think about the Marlins moving forward and the fact that they're in these games, and you know, you just and I just was talking about the box score, right? I mean, Myers 0 for 4 in the leadoff spot. De La Cruz 1 for 4. Myers 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Your leadoff hitter goes 0 for 4 with 3 Ks. I don't know why Skip keeps messing with this. Chisholm 0 for 4 today, moving down in the order. Skip has his reasons, but Myers 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts at the top. Terrible. Berger strikes out twice. They struck out 11 times. They did not draw a walk. They did not draw a walk, and that's pretty amazing when you think about they were 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position. They only got 4 runners into scoring position. They were dominated today. They left 5 on base. They were dominated today, right? When you look at first pitch strikes, Heaney, 14 of the 21 batters faced had a first pitch strike. And that's just not going to get it done. Nobody's drawing walks. You're not pushing deep into counts. You're not getting on the bases. They're not going to be that team. More like an old school American League team. But the problem is they don't have the power to do that. And they don't have the guys who hit for average. Bell, Berger, Gordon, not getting it done. And De La Cruz, DLC's been in a slump. Not having a rise at the top of that order has been huge for them. Imagine with this run that they've had. And they had the stretch where they went 9-4. They had the stretch where they won 4 3-game series in a row. Imagine if they had Luis Arraez during this whole time. You got it, baseball fan 31. The technical demons have been coming out this week, man. Literally, day in and day out. I don't know what it is. The world doesn't want us to hear, doesn't want you to hear our message, man. That's what it is, right? No, all kidding aside, man. We are here day in and day out, and it's live. And when you're live, you never know what's going to happen. That camera turns on, and I am here producing my own show for a half hour. If the house catches on fire, if the studio burns down, if my kids call me and say, Dad, we're losing our home, it's up in flames, it doesn't matter. I don't stop until the show's over, which I love. You got to love the live element of it, but sometimes it turns around and bites you. You are watching your Locked On Marlins postcast. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. A little bit left. I'm going to go through the scoring in this game, and I'm going to take you a look at the Rays series coming up Tuesday and Wednesday. They got to sweep that one. Baseball Fan 31 in the comments says that right. Thank you so much, by the way, for being a day-by-dayer. We're going to build a loyal audience of people here with your Locked On Marlins postcast, no matter what it takes, right? No matter what it takes. I'm not touching anything. Everything's fine, I swear. It's working great. And it's going to be a lot of fun, too. And also the road trip that's coming up for the Marlins is going to be huge, right? You got to take those 2 games against Tampa Bay. Luzardo and Garrett back-to-back. You need Garrett to give you another solid outing. You need Luzardo to stay hot in the opener. That's going to be huge. Both games, by the way, at 6:40 p.m., and we'll be on right after with our Locked On Marlins postcast. Then you have Cleveland, the first-place Guardians. I see a slip there. First-place Guardians. But when you have the Mets and the Nationals back-to-back on the road right after that, that's huge. Those are the 2 teams ahead of you in the standings in the East, and you're only 7 in back of the Nationals and 2.5 in back of the Mets. So you sweep the Rays, you win 1 even, and hopefully 2 against Cleveland. Then you go on the road, and those games really matter because you need to catch those teams. You can't even think about Atlanta. Forget about Philadelphia. That's a pipe dream. You're not, and the Phillies are amazing this year. What a team. And now the Braves lose Acuna Jr. for the season with the knee. So there's room there for the Marlins to possibly sneak in and get a wild card down the stretch in this season. Don't call me crazy, 51-50. I know, wrap me in the jacket, but it is what it is, man. They have a chance. It's all strategic in baseball. When you play the teams in front of you, you've got to win those games. You've got to win those games. And hopefully for them, they will get that done. And Rogers, Simeon reaches on an infield single to short to start the game. That's a tough break. That play could have been made. Seager singles to center. Simeon goes to third. So Seager's hitting streak at 21 games or whatever it is, 21, I believe. And then Grossman infield single to third. So 4 straight hits to start the inning, a single to center. So 2 singles to center field, 2 infield hits, followed by a double play that scores a run. And it ends up being 3-0 after the pop out. So you never had a ball really hit hard. You never had a ball high in the air. It was all singles, infield single. I mean, it's just a tough start for Rogers. And sometimes it bees like that. You know what I'm saying? So that was a tough one. It's 3-0. And then the way their bats, just come out. Myers strikes out, swinging, foul out, strikeout. And it was on from there. And it was 3-0. Rogers settled down nicely, man. You look at what Rogers was able to do in the second inning. He gave up a leadoff double, but after that, he was lights out. It was Smith with a leadoff double. And then after that, Marlins 1-2-3 in the second, Rangers 1-2-3 in the third, Marlins 1-2-3, or Lopez with a single, but then a double play in the bottom of the third. Still facing the minimum was Heaney. Rangers 1-2-3 in the fourth, and other than a walk, just about 1-2-3 in the fifth. So good job by Rogers. And the Marlins had a chance in the bottom of the fourth. You had a 1-out single by De La Cruz, and Berger followed with a single, first and second with 1 out. Unable to score there. That was their only real threat for the most part in the game. Garcia homers in the 6th to make it 4-0. And, in the 7th, Bell singles to lead off and nothing there. They had 1 threat in the whole game, really. Just 1 threat in the whole game. And then at the top of the 9th, the Rangers scored again. Tavares singles in Smith. Jankowski grounds out to score low. And there's your final score, 6-0. 6-0. The Marlins lose to the Rangers here today on your Locked On Marlins postcast. My name is Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. Someone on Twitter said when we were winning, we have been doing black magic. I don't know. I wish we keep it going. Baseball Fan 31. It has to be a half hour and a half hour only. But I can tell you this before I go. I have to do a little bit more business because we had that little technical snafu. So don't go anywhere. A little bit more show still to come. And we are here with Locked On Marlins postcast because of our great sponsors. Make no mistake about it. And one of the sponsors I love the most is Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 5 million members. It is the most fun, exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. You just pick more or less on 2 or more players and player stats for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Imagine 100x your cash. Grant Cardone's talking 10x. This is 100x, baby. With Prize Picks, you can turn $10 into $1,000 in a single game watching your favorite sports. This summer, you can make a Prize Picks lineup in as little as 60 seconds. You just need to pick more or less on 2 or 6 players' stat projections, and you're locked in. 2 to 6 players, more or less stat projections. You're locked in. If you're looking for promotions, Prize Picks has you covered every week, from lowering select player stats projections on Tuesdays, which increases your chance of getting a win, to getting your entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Fridays. Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members, including the rapper Meek Mill, including the UFC champion Sugar Sean O'Malley. And that's right. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's $100 to first deposit match up to $100 using the code LOCKEDONMLB when you download the Prize Picks app. It's highly encouraged right now by me for you to download Prize Picks right now. All right, here we go. Wrapping it up on your Locked On Marlins postcast here on your Sunday. Hope you've enjoyed the weekend. Full-blown summer now. Full-blown summer now. It doesn't always mean the same thing in Miami as it does in other cities around the country. It's kind of the opposite, right? Growing up as a kid in Connecticut, year in and year out, it's the summertime is Memorial Day to Labor Day. The boats go in Memorial Day, they come out Labor Day. Miami, they stay in all year, man. We're always celebrating this kind of weather and these kind of parties and this kind of fun. We just need the Miami Marlins to help us out a little bit and start playing some better baseball again, man. They've been right there, but to get smoked the way they have these last 2 games, total of 12-0, 7-0, then 5-0, back-to-back games. You got the Rays coming in to town, and now all of a sudden the Marlins have lost 2 straight series after winning 4 in a row. Got to get this thing turned around. You got to get this thing turned around. Really, baseball fan? I know. Yeah, I guess so. A little bit. A little bit. We're getting there, man. We're getting there. It's sometimes things happen when you're on a live stream. Technical difficulties. I've actually had the power go out. I've had all sorts of things happen, man. When your message is loud and proud, sometimes they don't want to have you get it out there as easily as you want to. But it's a lot of fun, man. And I want to remind you one more time before we go that Locked On has launched the first ever national 24/7 sports streaming channel on YouTube. And now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. It's Locked On Sports Today. It's here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today, now available on the free Fire TV channels app. And as always, want to thank you for making us your first listen of the day. Locked On Marlins Postcast. We're available and we're free. And we're available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And today, of course, was brought to you by the fine folks at Supply House. Gotta love Supply House. SupplyHouse.com, the reliable way to get parts fast. Shop for your next plumbing, HVAC, or electrical job and get fast shipping from coast to coast at SupplyHouse.com. Well, there you have it, Fish fans. There is no more of your Locked On Marlins postcast on your Sunday. 5-0 the Rangers win. 6th time the Marlins were shut out this season, and the 2nd time in a row they lost the last 2 games of the series. Rays coming in for 2, Guardians coming in for 3, road for the Mets, road for the Nationals. They need to win a whole bunch of these games, and they can get back in it. The Mets and the Nationals are right ahead of them in the standings. Other than the Guardians, who are in first place, no real world beaters here. You got a chance to take these 2 from Tampa. Luzardo's got to get the win in the opener. Then on that road trip, Mets, Nationals, let's do work, Fish. Let's go. Your Miami Marlins. And I'm a little bit late getting out of here, but I'll tell you what, I want to thank you for being here, the day-by-dayers. You know how I feel. I love you, and I appreciate you. Baseball Fan 31, thanks for all the interaction. Really appreciate you as well. Until tomorrow, when we will come to you, not at all. Tuesday, it'll be after the Rays game. It's a 6:40 first pitch, so we should be around 9 p.m., somewhere around there, 9:30, with your Locked On Marlins postcast. Until then, Fish fans, my name's Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease, at JimGrease_. I want to remind you to always keep your game tight and your mind right, baby. We are